Hello, this is Flair, and this is a response to the Peach. She asked the question about 3 weeks ago, why would an atheist or a non-believer want to get married? And I thought this was an interesting question, and so I've done some thinking about it, and I am a non-believer, and I am married, and so this was a question that was particularly interesting to me, so I wanted to address it. So I wrote down a few notes here. Let's see. So my personal views on marriage, because I am a convert to the idea of marriage. When I was a boy, or when I was much younger, of course, I didn't like the idea of marriage at all, and it was only very recently that I converted to the idea that marriage could possibly be a good thing. I was very much opposed to it for most of my life, and I think my reasons for that were primarily emotional and rationalized after the fact. So my parents, between them, have I think 7 divorces, and then their brothers and sisters and my grandparents and so on. There's a lot of divorce in my family, so it's just interesting to me that I ended up getting married anyway because I was so cynical and so negative about the idea. But I did get married, and I'm happy that I did it. I would say that it's the best thing that I ever did. So I would say that there are a lot of things to consider when talking about getting married, and the 4 that you listed are certainly apt. Tax benefits, insurance, parental pressure, and then the ceremony of the wedding itself. I would say that the tax benefits, well, yeah, the insurance aspect of it, the protection from other family and from the state for spouses, certainly, I think I think that's a strong argument. Although in theory it could be achieved in other ways. The parental pressure issue is, for some, it's a very important issue. For me, it's kind of a bogus issue. My parents are pretty bad at marriage, and so I don't really take their advice on the matter very much. But I do love them and care about them. They just kind of suck at that sort of thing. So and that's fine. None of us are really perfect at it. As far as the issue of the wedding itself, the bridal fantasy, the star of the show thing, I thought that was an interesting point. That's one of the major issues that I've always had with marriage, is between parental pressure and the bridal ceremony aspect of it. Those issues really represent to me the will of culture imposing a sensibility upon what should be a profoundly personal experience, and an experience between 2 individual people, or theoretically more, I suppose, if you could swing it. So anyway, I'm getting off track. So what do I feel about marriage? So this is what I personally believe that marriage is about, and really this only applies to me. So this is my principle on the matter, and this is why I chose to get married. First, I believe that marriage is a contract between 2 or potentially more people to support each other and strive for prosperity. So, contract between 2 people. What does that mean? It means that it's a bit like a business partnership, kind of. It's a business partnership where you have 2 people, or again potentially more, who work together in the world to gain some kind of standing in the world, and to support each other and support themselves, and to maintain a standard of living, potentially to have children, all of those wonderful things that we do in the pursuit of happiness. All of that is great, and all of that is strengthened by the bond of marriage. So it's I think, first of all, it is that sort of secular contract between 2 people. Second, marriage is a contract between the married couple and society, such that the society acknowledges the couple's commitments to each other. So what that means is, to me, is that that as a person who is married, I have I suppose, a certain status within society. I have the latitude to engage in certain practices, or to worry or not worry about certain things as a result of being married, being committed to a person, and it's sort of an agreement with society. So all of that is attainable. You can have a relationship with somebody that allows you to strive together for prosperity without actually tying the knot, you know, in a court or in a church or whatever. You can have that, but the marriage component of it, in particular a state-sanctioned marriage, is also an agreement with the state and with the society, that you're sort of working from a position of intention with this other person. You intend to contribute to society, which I suppose that idea seemed, I don't know, anathema to me when I was, you know, 18 or 22. But now I suppose it's got its, I guess it's got its points. I don't really fully understand it either. So my third point about marriage is that it is an assurance for both people that the other is on their side, working always with and in support of them. So what that means is that the fact that I'm married to my wife and my wife is married to me means that if I'm having a run of bad luck, I know that my wife is there for me and she loves me. And if she's having a run of bad luck, the same is true of me for her. And if I'm having a run of great luck, then I know that she's there to share it with me, and vice versa. I'm there to share her good fortune with her. So that's a pretty important thing for me, in particular because you have to really allow yourself to be vulnerable to the other person in order to really share in the joys and the tragedies that life throws at you. And as we get older, certain things get easier, but the complexity of it all gets greater. So you're able to deal with more, but there's more to deal with, and that process is, I would say, eased considerably by just the fact that you have a partner in life.